Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with John Rott from Gatekeeper Games. We're going to be looking at the King's Armory, which has a big setup space here. There's some fancy towers. So I hope you could give an overview of the game. What's the world? What are we trying to do in here? What's the gameplay like?
The King's Armory is true to form tabletop tower defense board game. True tower defense. Okay, so there's an epic boss monster that's going to show up at the very end of it. Okay, so what he's doing in the meantime is he's sending waves of monsters. So if you're familiar with online tower defense video games, you already know how to play. Okay, you know what to expect. The monsters are going to enter. We're going to roll the d12 to select which level monster is going to show up. It's going to determine which path he's going to fly. Let's take a nice bright one so the camera can see it nice and neat. All right, let's go over here. Let's take one of the fun level 5ers. All right, let's get one of our giants. He's a lot of fun. When he comes on the board, he's going to get his hit point tokens. We'll put underneath of him. Okay.
Sorry.
We'll put those hit point tokens underneath of him. He'll march along the board, trying to get towards the castle gate. He'll move the number of spaces that he's going to move. Now, our heroes are already going to be on the map. All right. So,
because we each have a hero card.
Yep. So we got that one and here. Each hero is entirely different. So it's going to feel like a role-playing experience, even though it's technically not. Okay? So I've said that it's a good gateway game for role-playing. So if you got friends who are into board games and you want them to join your D&D group, this will kind of get them into the feel of role-playing. Okay? So monsters are going to walk across the board. We have our heroes. We've got the hero token set aside over there. We also have miniatures available. You'll have your hero token already on the board. So we'll use our hireables right now as an example. All of our hireables, for example, happen to have a name of a character on them. They're all normal people names because we believe that gamers should really enjoy their games. So our little slogan is "This is your game." So even if none of those names match you, we've got blank ones for you. So you can put your name on it. All right. So as the monsters walk across the board, we're going to be on the map. So we'll have Daniel out there being our foot soldier. He's going to be attached to the tower. This is what the towers do. Our hired help are attached to the towers. The towers themselves don't attack. That wouldn't be any fun, automated, pew, pew, pew. This is a board game, right? We want our hands on it. So we're going to assign things to the towers, and then that's going to be what's doing the damage. We're going to actually control Daniel, our level 3 foot soldier, to attack. So he's going to stop this giant. He'd roll d20 to attack. Oh, I love it. Thank you. All right. He rolls a 20 and crits. Okay. He's going to do double damage to the giant, which is going to bypass some of its defenses. Okay. And take that giant down a notch. When we get that giant down, say we did double damage, so we're going to do 8. He reduces it down to 7. We remove 7 hit points. Okay. He's got 10 hit points left on him. Each turn, the monsters will all move. Okay. It's turn-based, so then it's going to be the player's turn. So then we'll take our turn. So now so the monster already moved. It was our turn. Daniel goes. Now it's going to be your turn to use the, who do we got here? Wayne, he's probably going to be on the tower because he's the sorcerer. Don't hit me, right? He's going to be launching fireballs and ice bolts and stuff to light them on fire and slow them down. Okay. So the game is for 1 to 7 players. It's 100% pure co-op. We all win together, we all lose together. There's no traitors, there's no secret winner at the end. We're going to do it or we're not. Okay. So if the monsters do all 20 damage to the castle gate, we lose. Eric, we can't let that happen. All right. So we're going to work cooperatively in order to ensure that at the end they're all dead. 1 to 7 players. The game always scales in difficulty to the number of players, which is awesome. So it's not easy with 2 or impossible with 7, right? So it always scales in difficulty, which allows for a drop-in, drop-out mechanic. So if somebody comes late, the game's going to scale up to the new number of players when they join in. Somebody leaves early because they got to go to bed or the kid got sick. They can drop out without feeling like, oh, I'm sorry, I ruined your game. You say, have a good night. We all remain friends at the end of the day still, okay? And we can complete it without them. It is solo play. If you're like, everybody leaves and you're left with the game, finish it yourself.
With variable setup in terms of what you're setting up here with multiple towers.
You build your own map every game. So building your own map, we promise endless replayability. The characters don't just do what they do cooperatively. They're going to do what they do together to synergize. So for example, if you're playing a character that does tanking and can stop the monsters, and I'm playing a character that does area of effect, if you tank and start hitting with your mace, and I'm shooting flamethrowers and ball lightnings everywhere, all right, we'll get the job done, maybe. But if you tank them in clumps intentionally so that my flamethrower hits more, now we're greater than the sum of our parts.
Right.
And any two characters synergize differently.
As long as you know what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
It's take a little experience, I'm
It's
sure.
going to take a little experience. You'll probably lose your first game.
Right.
If you can beat the co-op game the first time easily, maybe that's
the rule
not
book.
fun. I know, right? That's true.
Okay.
Reread the rule book, exactly. So the modular board allows for adjustable difficulty too.
Okay.
So if you're getting the crap beat out of you every time, you can give yourself a longer map, make the monsters wind even more, keep the roads closer together so there's more choke points.
Okay.
And then it's going to be a little easier. If you start to feel like you master it after endless replayability, you've played it 500 times in 2 years, right? So you get to that point, then you can make the map shorter.
Okay.
And now you're always going to have a difficulty level that meets you. You're never going to outgrow the game.
Okay. And probably adjust as well what comes on the level of monsters.
Yep, the level of monsters. This is the wave card. Looks like there's a lot on here, but we get to show it to you. Over here is the monster selection grid. So we'll roll the D12, okay? 1 through 12, okay? Wave 1, I rolled a 4, it's a level 1 monster. On wave 3, a 4 is going to be a level 2 monster. On wave 6, it's a level 3 monster.
Okay.
And then, of course, on wave 1, you can't get level 5 monsters. They will destroy you. All right? And then on wave 7, you can play a 5-wave game or a 7-wave, okay? The base is 5, and then you go up to 7. You can't get a level 1, right? Over here is the hero scaling grid, so you can see how it scales. The scales to the number of heroes, not the number of players.
Okay.
So Eric, if you want to play it by yourself, you could play 2 or 3 heroes by yourself. It's going to scale to the number of heroes, and it's going to adjust the number of monsters that show up, the difficulty curve of the roll, and the number of bonus coin that we get, because we're going to need it.
All right. Thanks very much for the overview. There's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's an epic game. It's a gamer's game. It's a 3-hour playtime. Okay. It's a meaty game. It's a role-playing game of sorts. It tells its own story. As you go through the game, you really feel like, all right, how do we do this? How are we going to make it work? How are we going to? And then the monsters start getting down to the castle gate, and like the stress levels start rising, and it's really, really exciting. We ran a demo last night. And people stayed and kept playing it till 1:30 in the morning. They wouldn't leave.
That's right.
Yeah,
People.
That's a good sign.
All right. Congrats.
Thank you very much.
My brother was just saying he wasn't finding anything longer than 90 minutes here, so
send him our way.
I'll have to find him out. Point him out. All right.